Have you ever looked at a keyboard and wondered, why does 0 come after 9? Why not before 1, since 0 has the least value? Well, as you might have guessed, the answer is typewriters. But the actual story is a lot more interesting than that. The first QWERTY typewriter was the Scholz-Glidden, also known as the Remington No. 1, production of which began on the 1st of March 1873. None of that is relevant. What is, however, is the fact that that particular typewriter could only print uppercase letters. In addition, it had no keys for the 0 and 1 numerals. That's because typists could simply type an uppercase O to represent a 0 and an uppercase I to represent a 1, because on the typewriter's font, those characters looked identical. Plus, having fewer keys meant the typewriter was cheaper and easier to manufacture due to the typewriter's complex mechanisms. In 1878, the Scholz-Glidden's successor, the Remington No. 2, introduced the ability to type uppercase letters, and with it the first shift key on a typewriter. A later revision of the Remington No. 2, the Remington No. 2 Portable, introduced the 0 key. Now I know what you're thinking. Why would they do that if they can just type an O? Well, there was an official reason, but it is speculated that it's due to the fact that typing an uppercase O to represent a 0 required the use of the shift key, which was less convenient than simply typing a lowercase l or an uppercase I for a 1. Now, the reason the 0 was placed next to the 9 was simply that 0, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on would have looked odd, since there was no 1 between the 0 and the 2, so the 0 was moved to the end of the number O next to the 9. Many years later, the 1 key was finally added in the 1950s. The representation of 1 as its respective numeral was not proposed until 1948, and did not achieve widespread adaptation until the mid-1950s. And even after the 1 key was added, no one bothered moving the 0 back to its proper position. As such, the 0 remained in its position next to the 9, and even as we entered the digital age with the first computers, we continued to use that same layout. Basically, typewriter manufacturers had OCD and couldn't stand the sight of numerals arranged by value with the missing number. What's also cool is that in addition to 1, the exclamation point was also omitted from typewriters until the 1970s. Before that, if you wanted to write an exclamation point using a typewriter, you'd have to combine a period and an apostrophe using a backspace. Type a period, backspace into the previous cursor position, then type an apostrophe. Similarly, early typewriters did not include keys for the plus and equal signs, so in order to type them, the user had to combine a hyphen and a colon and a hyphen and an underscore respectively. The backspace key was later utilized to erase and correct text using correction tape or fluid, which is what it's known for today. Additionally, typists who need to use diacritical marks had to use the dead key. When pressed, the dead key would not advance the typing position. It was basically a backspace with less steps. Using that, the user would be able to, for example, combine an E and an apostrophe to generate an E. Before I finish the video, it's worth noting that almost every typewriter manufacturer made a different layout. It was mostly natural selection that determined whose typewriter layout was the most popular and which company became the most successful. With that being said, that should be the end of today's video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.